Are you ready? Go!
Alright y'all, welcome back to Retro ReWire. My name is JJ, and as you can see in today's episode, we're going to take a look at the game aisle at the Kazo Hard Off. Now, if you missed it in the first episode, we took a look at the display case. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. But let's go ahead and get things underway, and we're going to start with the Nintendo Switch. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail with these games, just because current gen games, you could usually find pretty good deals in your own home country as well as online in places like Amazon. But they did have a section of Switch games, as you can see here, and some fairly decent titles. The prices are not the best, but you know, that's how it is. And the same kind of holds true with the Nintendo 3DS, another excellent system. But in Japan, a lot of these games are of course only in Japanese. There are a few that support the English language, but the majority of these titles are just going to be in Japanese. And again, the same is going to hold true with the Nintendo 3DS or the DS here. But I don't know, if you guys are interested in these consoles, let me know in the comments down below, including the Wii U and the Wii, and I'll be sure to cover them more in greater detail in future videos. But you know, they had some decent titles there, as you can see. But let's go ahead and go a little bit retro, and we're going to start with the Game Boy Advance here. As you can see, they had quite a bit of complete in-box games, and a few of these titles are actually new to me, and I'll show some of these. I'll show them in a greater detail, but it's kind of nice to see the condition of these boxes. I mean, they're fairly, I mean, look at this Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario Advance 4. $15, and it's a freaking awesome condition, as well as like this Mario Kart Advance. I have both of those, but I have the loose cart editions because they were considerably less expensive. And then here's a game that I haven't seen before, and it looks kind of interesting, and it's a Nintendo game. I don't know if that was released in North America, but definitely interesting to see. And then here we're going to dive into some of the Game Boy family games, and again, you know, some of these boxes are from like 1989, and they just are in awesome condition. And some of the prices are not too bad. Like here we have $3 for this One Piece game. Haven't played it before. It may be good, it may be not. But a couple Pokemon games for about $5. And there was a ton of games in these little baskets, and I wish I had the time to cover all of these. But you know how it is. There's just a lot to see. You know, $5.50 there for the Sonic Advance, and quite a few loose Advance games, which I don't mind actually buying some of these in the loose. And then we have here the Minish Cap, The Legend of Zelda, and look at the condition of this box. $15. You know, this game is like easily over 20 years old, and to see it in that condition is definitely it's definitely a testament, especially considering that a lot of these boxes are just out of that flimsy cardboard. But always nice to see. Anyhow, let's go ahead and check out some more Famicom games, Super Famicom and Nintendo 64. Pretty cool store, this Hard Off in Kazo. And here we have some Final Fantasy action. Now this is all going to be in Japanese, of course, but definitely cool decor for the game room, for your display and whatnot. I mean, look at that cover art. That's pretty wicked. Freaking I believe it's Amano who's been the penciling the covers for Final Fantasy since the beginning. And then here we have some Super Famicom games. Again, a lot of these boxes are in fairly good condition. And there's an assortment of games, a little bit of everything, as you can see. Even the old Derby Stallion 3 and Samurai Spirits here, which I do like this cover. This Samurai Spirits cover has that kind of that funky 1990s anime hyper type of look. But then we have Chrono Trigger here, and this is in fairly good condition, $10. And I do like how the cover is horizontal there, which I believe the first game to actually feature that. Well, here's one before I get to that. Here's Casper. I actually haven't played this, and I believe it also has a release on the Sega Saturn, PlayStation 1, although I'm not sure if they're, same name, different game type of deal, but kind of interesting to see that Casper. And then we have F-Zero, of course. This is a fairly inexpensive game, although The condition of this one is a little bit better. This is why it's a little bit higher, but normally you can find that game for about $5 complete in the box. But anyhow, about the horizontal orientation of some of these covers, I believe Castlevania 4, Super Castlevania was the first one to spearhead that. Then we have Ranma 1/2. I actually had Hard Battle, which was released in North America, and that was a pretty cool fighter. And then we have the classic Wave Race 64. Look at the big old bulky box. Pretty good price too. They had a few 64 games. This game actually got a HD remaster, I believe, and it's available on the Nintendo Switch among other current generation platforms. But yeah, nice little selection of N64. I actually didn't have an N64 growing up, but I would borrow out my PS1 or Sega Saturn to other friends that own this, and I was able to play a lot of those games growing up. Definitely a lot of cool ones, as you can see here. And the condition of these boxes is pretty darn good. And then the original version of Super Mario 64, and as well as Mario Kart 64, and that's only $10, and this is one of my favorite Mario Kart games. And then Mario Party 3, which sees the introduction of Waluigi and I believe Daisy, as you can see there on the back, first appearance. Then we have MRC, touting its bonus features, which I have no clue really about. But anyhow, that was 64. Let's go ahead and go into some of these loose carts of Famicom games. And some of these games have some pretty sweet covers. What is that? Sky something. And then we have a Tiny Toons there for $10, and then a Stick Hunter, something like that. But you know, this like I keep mentioning it in most of these videos. It's a system that I'm not really familiar with. Then we have the Super Famicom games. Some of these games were pretty cheap, and some of these games were actually in the junk bin for as low as 50 cents. Some of them were a little bit sun-stained, and some of them were actually in a similar condition, but with a little bit of cleaning. You know, you can get some of these games from the junk section fairly cheap. But the difference is all of these games have been tested. Then we're going to move on to the final 4-foot section here, which is just a mixed bag of oddities. Not really oddities, but you know what it is. You know what I mean. Come on. Anyhow, then we have, what is that? Joe and Mac 2, or Caveman Ninja 2, which was Congo's Caper in the States. And then we have Fist of the North Star, and then we have Goemon 3. Just all sorts of cool games. Most of them seem to be going for about $10. And then we have what is this here? Master System? Could be wrong, could be right. But you don't see too many of those now. Got a Game Boy Color game there, Zelda, and Samurai Spirits in the back. And then we have this Mega Man X2. And then, of course, the KOF. Now, here's a game. Oh, gosh, I forget the name of this game. But this game is actually getting a reboot, which will be out on Nintendo Switch early next year. And I believe now there's an early access to it on Steam. But looking forward to that one. Then we have old Ronald McDonald. The actual game on Genesis, the McDonald's game, was a treasure game, and it's actually not that bad. I remember playing it way back. Got a few RPGs there. Mother 2, Might and Magic, Ultima, as you saw, Souls and Swords. All sorts of RPGs on the Super Famicom. That system was definitely blessed with that genre, because back then they would sell you on the hours. But just gonna flash through some of these games, and feel free to pause if you want to get a closer look at some of the pricing. But as you can see, they had a fairly awesome selection of titles. Now, the pricing is gonna be up to you, but definitely not bad. And we're gonna continue here looking through the basket of goodies of loose games. And as you can see, some of these are fairly cheap, and they're pretty, back then, you know, they were AAA titles. Which is contrary in the States, you know, a lot of these games are going to be like 60, 70 bucks in that condition. The catch is, these are going to be in Japanese, of course. But definitely a lot of, I mean, look at all these titles. Nothing but gold in there. Look at that. Both of the Zeldas, which I have not played Majora's Mask. I will be picking that up on the 3DS. Definitely want to give that a go. And then here's this X2, which I have not played. It looks pretty cool. But anyhow, we're done with Nintendo. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other consoles. This is a small section of Xbox games, which includes the 360 as well as the Xbox One. And then as you can see in the bottom, we have some PC Engine games. But look at this, the American version, North American version of Dragon's Dogma for about $3. That's not a bad price. Sunset Overdrive for 10. I heard a lot of good things about this title, though I have not played it. But definitely a cool cover. And then Snatcher on the PC Engine. I hear this is could be the definitive version. I don't know. Hear a lot of good things about it, though. Then we have Jackie Chan. Hear a lot of good things about that one too. We got a little sword and sorcery game. And then Ninja Warriors. This is also the arcade version, and that's currently out on the Nintendo Switch and I believe PlayStation 4. Then we have a couple GameCube titles, and of course some Sega goodness at the top. So we're gonna go back up here and take a look at some of these Sega Saturn games. Now, Sega Saturn going the way of the dodo more and more. You know, when I head out to these places, it's getting more scarce. But it's kind of cool to see this limited edition of Seaman. And then, of course, D2, one of my favorite games on the freaking Dreamcast. This game actually had a couple variants, a couple different covers. And then we have, I don't know what this is, but shovelware type of game. But then we'll make our way down to the GameCube games. I don't really show too much of the GameCube stuff, but I do show a little bit. We'll take a look here. $20 for the Sonic Advance DX. Which, you know, for me, that game was awesome, but especially the original, but you know, going back to it, it's definitely clunky. And I do have the HD remaster on the PS3 of that Sonic Adventure. Definitely worth picking up. And then Metroid Prime. And then we're going to end things here by just showing off Luigi's Mansion. Definitely a cool game. But that's going to be it for this episode. The next episode, we're going to take a look at the PlayStation stuff. So definitely stick around for that. And as always, thank you for watching. My name is JJ. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you all very, very soon. Ciao.